Well, good afternoon, and welcome again to this conference. I hope and I'm sure your lunch went well. My name is Marco Souza, and I will be the moderator of this panel under the theme Matosinhos from Industrial to Smart Destination. The objective of this panel will be to present Matosinhos as a reference in the industrial tourism, demonstrating the consistency and quality of private projects and their organic connection with the territory. Let me introduce you to our guests who are going to talk about their work and experience concerning industrial tourism. First, Marta Pontes, councillor from the city of Matosinhos. Welcome, Marta. Helena Fernandes, head of commercial and marketing director of the Authority of Porto of Douro Leixões e Viana. Patrícia Souza, marketing director of Conservas Pinhais. Rodrigo Souza, Assistant Manager of Conservas Portugal Norte, Manuel Moreira, Export Sales Director of Conservas Ramírez, and Rui Lopes Ferreira, CEO of Superboc Group. My first question is to Marta Pontes. Marta, the city of Matosinhos has a clear and defined strategy concerning tourism. We have, for example, the famous fish and its restaurants, the beaches, the architecture, the St. James Ways, etc. In what way does industrial tourism fit into the tourism strategy of Matosinhos?
Thank you, Marta. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure for me to be here. I congratulate NEST for this organization. And I start by thanking you all for being here. Welcome those who are coming from the neighborhood, from different parts of our country, and those who visit Matosinhos for the first time. It's the first, I hope not the last, but just the first. At the end of 2022, our team was talking about the challenges, the goals, what we wanted to think in 2023, what was the first word that we wanted to work and to think about it, and which kind of boosts do we need to start 2023. So innovation was the word that inspired us. We found the right partners, the right persons, and so today we start 2023 the way we dreamed about in the end of 2022, discussing how innovation, how companies, how ecosystem can change, can achieve, can help us growing, help us achieving the goals that we all have been working. So innovation is in fact our word for 2023. Matosinhos is fundamentally a city of experiences, aligned to those principles that girl told us about in the morning. And therefore, I challenge you, knowing that your schedule is probably leave you little time to do some things that Marco already spoke about, spoiling them, but I will repeat because they are experiences. You can make it not one time, 2 times, 3 times, you can come back. So, in the days you are here in Matosinhos, at least you have to try our gastronomy, taste the world's best fish. In one of the more than 400 restaurants that we have here, from the most traditional to the most sophisticated star Michelin restaurants, they all have, which we have in the world's best fish. Then, take an adventure in a surf lesson, one of the best beaches in the world for beginnings to surf. Right now, you just need to resist to the water temperature, which can be sometimes as challenging as balancing on the board, but take the risk if you have some time, it's right over here. Watch the sunset in one of the 60 kilometers of walkways through the coastline and observe the hundreds of pilgrims on the Caminhos of Santiago and discover the famous scallop has its story in this city. Admire some of the most important work of architecture from the prize-winning Pritzker, Cisa Vieira and Souto Moura, among other experiences that will certainly make your days very special. The element that connects most of the experience I told you about, and which is the heart of our community, of our culture, of the past, of the present, and of the future, is the sea. You can watch it from here, you can watch it from our coasts, and you can feel it in our community. Which connects us is the sea. Today, we are here at the Porto of Leixões, which the construction marked the beginning of industrialization and, and allows nowadays that companies reach to more than 180 countries from Matosinhos to the world. We also are very near from the canning industry quarter. We had one of the first industrial quarters urbanistically planned specially for that purpose, which was at the time very innovative. So, slowly, through time, several projects were developed, bringing together industry and tourism, transforming industrial tourism into an essential part of the tourism in Matosinhos, mostly because of the quality of the projects. Last year, when Turismo de Portugal, which I deeply salute, decided to develop a specific strategy to promote industrial tourism, Matosinhos was one of the first Portuguese cities to sign the protocol with these 5 projects, all of them represented here today in our panel. You asked me, Marco, if the industrial tourism fits in the strategy, in the global strategy of Matosinhos tourism. And my answer is very easy, perfectly. It couldn't fit better. Our identity is an industrial, we are an industrial city, and now we are a tourist destination that has been growing and has a lots of potential. So these both industry and tourism, they fit perfectly. They are our identity, and we have to qualify them, and we have to show to the world what we have, and this is very good. As you know, 2020 was a disaster here for tourism. Matosinhos was no exception. We know that from 220 to 219, we raised the number of visitors by 70%, and suddenly we dropped more than 80% due to COVID-19. In 2022, the number of tourists rose again by 5% compared to the best year that had been 2019, making it the best year ever for the city of Matosinhos. This is an impressive recovery, but more important, it is the perspective that we have great opportunities here, which includes, of course, the role of industrial tourism that is and will be one of the main issues of our identity. In addition to expand the partnership and the incredible work of these partners that I have here, we intend to further encourage the growth of industrial tourism, attracting new sorts of tourists. The opportunities generated by this project list directly contribute to achieve some of the goals set out in our general strategy, namely, increase the number of visitors in Matosinhos, attractiveness with tour operators, the average amount spent per tourist, and length of stay in our territory, and finally, the words for 2023 to incentive the innovation for our economic agents. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta, for your experience and to share with us the strategy of Matosinhos. Now, Rui Lopes Ferreira, CEO from Superboc Group, Well, Superboc incorporates a circular economy model into its strategy, which aims to ensure its business development overall and at the same time support and develop the local communities. In your way, how does your company act to create a positive impact in the territories where you have presence and particularly here in Matosinhos?
Thank you for the question, and also thank you for inviting. I'm very pleased to participate in this conference, and I would like to congratulate promoters and mainly the municipality of Matosinhos for hosting this important event. Well, concerning your question, I have to tell you that for a long time, and we have quite a long history, more than 130 years old, we have had local communities playing a role in our strategy and in our development. And why is this? Why is that? Because we believe that fostering the local and direct employment, direct and indirect employment in the region provides us with what we feel it's relevant and important to help building our reputation of our brands and of our company. And indeed, we believe that our brands and also the company are seen here in the region, are felt as part of the community, and we like to believe that this is due to the fact that also people see us as serving the community. Well, but we can go much beyond this. It's not only about reputation and it's not only about brand reputation. What we believe is that, and coming back to the industrial tourism issue, we believe that it can play a role together in this municipality together with us. In fact, Portugal is a country with many, many unique assets that are very different from region to region, from municipality to municipality. And they are very rich in terms of local assets, gastronomy, history, landscape, industries, eventually also, like in Matosinhos, traditions, and differentiation is a key point in tourism for sure, just as it is in our industry, in fast-moving consumer goods industry. And differentiation is a key point because each region must find its own way of creating uniqueness, to create something really unique that cannot be replied everywhere. So, I believe industrial tourism can play a role and as a perfect fit for this issue of differentiation. Because culture, tradition, gastronomy, as I told, local habits, local products, local crafts, local markets, and so on, all these provides a unique context and a unique experience for each visitor. And most important of all, something that within this context cannot be replied anywhere or elsewhere. We all know that tourism is not anymore traditional sun and beach. There are different kind of demands, and we believe that people and travelers today are searching for different experiences. And I would say this is the key word: differentiation and experiences. People are looking for experiences and not only for traditional products. So what can give us a specific experience? It's the authenticity of the region, its genuinity of the people. It's everything that makes it unique. And that's what we have to leverage in order to provide travelers with different experiences per opposition to the ones that you can find anywhere and everywhere. I can give you an example. If you spend a day in a brewery, in a Portuguese brewery, or in a fish cannery factory, and we have some of them here with us, you will have an experience that probably you won't have anywhere else. So what is the role of Superboc in this view? I think we can play a role together with Matosinhos. Well, we can not only play a role, I think we are already playing a role together with Matosinhos. Because we have such a long history, as I told you, we have an authentic history and genuine history with local products that are developed by local people and local people that love our region and love the place where they live, the place where they work. And our brands that are, as you know, traveling all around the world, we are exporting to more than 50 countries. I think our brands are carrying those values together with them abroad. And it's interesting to note that many of the visitors here in the region, they already know Superboc, for instance, and they are curious of visiting the brewery. So, framed with this concept of industrial tourism, I think we have some assets, Superboc has some assets that can be attractive for different visitors. And one of them, and the major one, I believe, is Casa da Cerveja, so our beer house, let's say. It's our visitor center, which is located right in the middle of the brewery, right in the heart of the brewery, and it's very close to the old boilers room that you for sure know. Everybody knows, at least the ones that are living in the area, because it's very visible from the main roads. Well, this Casa da Cerveja has quite a modern but yet simple architecture, and it provides visitors with a view, with a flow of the brewing process, explaining and helping people to understand what is a brewing process. Starting with raw materials, what are the raw materials, what kind of treatment they need in order to be incorporated in the process, passing to the fermentation, so after preparing raw materials, what is the fermentation process, and finishing probably with most impacting view of the filling lines, where people can see the speed of filling bottles and cans, which is quite impressive when they are working at full speed, mainly in summer, not at this time, of course. So, I think we can provide, more than any kind of other products, we are providing experiences. We are allowing our visitors to experiment the values of our brands, to know our curiosities, to be aware of what are our landmarks. Eventually also to remember some iconic promotional materials from the 70s, from the 80s, that people are astonished to see, oh, I still remember that. And we have them in exhibition on Casa da Cerveja. And last, but not the least, they can end up with a beer tasting session, which is the best experience to finish an experience like this. Well, since our Casa da Cerveja opened some years ago, we have received more than 25,000 people in Casa da Cerveja. People not only from Portugal, so different origins, mainly Europeans, I have to say, Spanish, French, British people, mainly Europeans, And maybe now we are starting to see some visitors from other kind of continents. In 2019, before pandemic, we had 5,000 visitors during 1 year. Of course, during pandemic, this was reduced a lot. And even in 22, last year, there were several restrictions yet that were only raised up mid of the year, so it's not a reference for this. But we believe that Casa da Cerveja can be leveraged, and we can integrate this kind of route and experience together with some other experiences that can be provided in a municipality. And talking about other experiences, I would like to note that we have in our neighborhood some other different assets that can be complementary and can be leveraged also to expand, to enlarge this kind of experience. I'm talking about the monastery of Les Advalier. Of course, it's not our property, but it's very close to the brewery. We have been sponsoring the requalification of the monastery for many, many years. It's a very impressive building, as probably everybody knows. It's a Gothic building dated from the 14th century. And it's a piece of history that is quite interesting. Also, to talk about history of this region. Well, we have Corredor Verde. I don't know how to translate this. Corredor Verde, the margins of the River Lessa that are being requalified and refurbished, and they are just close to us in part of the path. And we also have Leonesa. Leonesa is the hub, different business hub that is on the other side of the road. And we have developed with Leonesa a very interesting project, which is the urban art mural, the urban art wall, a very long wall, 1,400 meters, as far as I remember, which has been painted by different artists. It's a collective art, it's a piece of art, which tries to illustrate what is the life of people in Matosinhos. So I believe all of this can create a specific route and a specific experience for industrial tourism. But we have more. I think I have take my time, so I will not expand too much. But I would like just to tell you very briefly that we have more than this. Not only in this municipality, but in Pedras. You know, Pedras is the leader brand, water brand in Portugal. We also have a museum with lots of history on it, a museum that is located within the natural Pedras Park, which is visited for thousands of people every year. So I would say that together with industrial tourism, probably not in Matosinhos, but in other regions of the country, we are putting together industrial and natural and nature tourism, which can be a very good combination because we cannot separate industry, specifically in our industries, in beer and water, we cannot separate the industry from its natural resources and the naturalness that mainly Pedras has in its character. So, and to finalize, I would like to tell you that we are willing to work on it, not just because we feel that responsibility, but being honest, because I think our brands can also benefit from this link with industrial tourism and working together with municipality and other players in the region.
Thank you, Rui. I believe, sorry. You mentioned, and your approach was, I believe, uniqueness, innovation also. Differentiation and experiences. You spoke about a lot about experience and different experiences, and I believe are the key words for us to develop and to continue to grow in our destination. So thank you very much. Patricia Souza. Pinhais project stands out for the originality of its own construction of a living museum. What are the main challenges of the project, and how do you reconcile the demands of the tourists visiting as a museum with the operation of a canning production? I believe this is one of the major difficulties that, for example, us are encountering when we spoke with the companies who want to work industrial tourism. Can you tell us about your experience?
Of course. Thank you, Marco. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with every single one of us and every single one of you. I think that when we started this process in 2019, our main goal and our main target is, and this is what I'll try to do in my presentation, is to have each and everyone sitting on those chairs really wanting to come to visit Conservas Pinhais Factory Tour, because it has been a huge challenge basically creating a museum, a live museum. We are not the biggest producer by far. We are actually one of the smallest fish preserves in the industry in Portugal. But we are so proud of having a family. And when a visitor comes to visit us, they will enter our family. They will be an ambassador of our brands, as Rui was talking about. And this has been the challenge, is people actually, you will be able to enter the floor of the production. You will see every single out of 146 people that with all their love, with all their pride, they are doing a can of fish and putting sardines in a tin. And you'll be able to see them. They will engage with you. They give you a smile or they give you a hello. And this is our challenge. The challenge of going beyond tourism, industrial tourism, and is, as Rui was also saying, is giving them an experience. And we are obviously here in the forum and seeing all these startups and all of you trying to reach the world of digital. For us, innovation is also a key word, as Marta was saying, but in a different way. So our biggest innovation is actually not innovating the process. This is tricky. It makes you think about it, definitely. So what do? We use innovation in a specific way. If you have this front door, innovation is at the back and is the support to all our customer visit experience. This is what we do. We want technology to be a mean, not an end in itself, and we want it to be able to give our visitors a complete different experience. So, for instance, we have a key that we give to a visitor if you come to visit us, and you will go back in time 102 years, okay? And we ask them to please close your eyes. We cannot hear the sea because we are not as close as we are in this amazing building, but we use technology to do what? We use technology to give us the sound. So you close your eyes, and you can hear the seagulls, and you can hear the sound of the fishing dock, for instance. And after that, you put your hands in the sand, and we tell you the story, and you are a part of it. You are a part of our visit, and you take out a boat or you take out a boot of a fisherman, okay? And we tell you the story of how our small fishing cannery does something that is completely unique. You will be a part of our family because we do things with our hands, and I've done it also the entire process, so I know what I'm speaking. But we do it so much love, and we do it by hands, exactly like it was done in 1920 when we founded our company. But again, it's layer upon layer. So we have the visit, you go inside the factory, you walk inside the factory, you meet our people, okay? But you also have the opportunity, and 1 out of 5 visitors, and I think, Marta, you have been here, so you can check if that is right or not, but people actually leave with a tear, because again, we use the technology to show a video on the importance of saudade, this so big, important word in Portuguese, that honors the work of the fishermen that come through these seas every single working day into the fishing dock. So this is what we do at Pinhais. We invite any visitor to come into a world where you'll be a part of our family. And we take care of the sustainability of it all, so by honoring the fishermen and going for the fishing dock to buy the fish at the right price. So we talk about smart destinations, and for us, smart destination is the cooperation between this circular economy that we have. Our labor producer is 2 blocks from where we live. The supplier, in which we have this amazing experience, we have this tasting experience in the end, and the supplier of the wine with whom we make a partnership is just in front of us. We develop the community, we develop the people, we develop Matosinhos. And this is our goal, obviously. All of us here together, I think this is our main goal, to make Matosinhos a smart destination by creating this circular economy in which we actually give something that is completely unique to our visitors. We work the digital part by giving them a QR code that they can book our visit if they are in the tram in the center of Porto, so that they know that in Matosinhos that's something special that you can actually visit. And then we send them a questionnaire for them or survey to evaluate our experience. And this is how we gather data to create more visitors and to become more relevant for visitors. We are constantly learning. We are only in our first year, and again, promoting it and opening our doors to make sure that not only industrial tourism, but we are also gastronomic tourists. And you can eat the best fish in one of the 400 amazing restaurants, but you can also eat it in an amazing tin, in our canteen, and have a specialty done specifically for you. I think this is the wonder of what we are doing in Matosinhos and what we are promoting. And us at Pinhais, again, we are a small producer doing a unique process. All our production is done like this, and we are really, really proud to share with every single visitor what we do. And I think that going back to your question, Mark, the challenge is, again, we are certified for production, so we have to make sure that every visitor that really goes inside the factory is within our boundaries. But you can also come on a weekend, and you can actually put the ingredients in a tin and actually wrap your own tin. So we believe that through innovation of technology, we have this amazing background and a great support to develop and to give to our customers and our visitors, our amazing clients that give us the best regards. And you can obviously see our reviews that we are something that goes far beyond an industrial tourism. We are a gastronomic tourism. We have cultural. Our building is amazing and is part of the quarter that Marta was talking about, a whole block that promotes and evokes the architecture amazingness that we have as we are in this building right now. And I think that we gather so many points that it really goes far beyond industrial tourism. And I believe that all of us together with this circular economy, we can make Matosinhos a smart destination. And I will just wrap up saying that together, we can make a smart destination out of Matosinhos. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Patricia, for your passion, for your project, from your work, and I believe the last sentence, together we can work better and better. Thank you. So, Rodrigo, from Conserveira, Portugal Norte. Over the last few years, the Cannery Portugal Norte has focused heavily in gastronomic and tasting components as a part of the experience of visiting the factory. What is the balance of this investment, and to what extent does it have an impact on the industrial tourism project?
So, first of all, thank you for that question, and I would like to also say thank you to the Matosinhos City Hall for inviting us here, so they can share a little bit about us. So, Portugal Norte, a little brief explanation about us. We are a 110 years old canned fish factory. Medium size, we are not as big as some, we are not also a small canned fish factory, more focused on high quality products. In the last 10 years, we decided to invest in the gourmet canned fish market, in part because of the growing of the tourism in Portugal over the last 10 years. And we already had the best fish. We are in Matosinhos, so some of the best fish in the world. And we have more than capable workforce. So we said, why not? It's growing, it's a booming area. We decided to invest in that. And nowadays, we have a very good, strong presence in the gourmet market. But then we had a problem. When we started selling, it was how do we sell a product with usually a higher price? And a canned fish is close, the packaging is appealing, but it was not enough. So we decided to do tasting and sampling. We thought it was a very sure bet, but it wasn't, because when we have a such high-priced product, we need to do more than just opening toast and bread and opening a can. We need to invest even more on tasting. So we worked with chefs to assure we could create a small sensory tasting sampling that people would want to eat and taste and buy our product, but at the same time, they will feel inspired to do it at home. So it had to be simple. So for us, it was a very good bet, but it created another issue for us. Because after a little bit, usually the 3-4 years, people want to visit our factory to see how it was done. It's a good kind of problem, and we already had an open door policy. And so we decided, okay, we're going to take this seriously. And we already were going to do some renovations in the factory. And we decided, okay, we will open the factory to factory tours. We'll get it ready so that in a way that people can come at any time during production and visit while we keep the factory safe. So in the renovations, we created a deck with an almost 360 degrees over all aspects of production. It's above our production, so you can see every single step from the fish being arriving in our factory, being processed into cans, the cans being seamed, you can see everything. At the same time, we had a small factory store where we sold locally to people from from Matosinhos, and decided also to expand that store. And we were inspired. We are in Matosinhos, a place of great restaurants, and we thought to ourselves, why not make a restaurant that exclusively uses as protein canned fish or canned fish? We had a big diversity of them, and so we renovated also our store, and we have an open kitchen where people can see us making meals, entire meals from scratch to beginning with canned fish. And it's also the beginning and end of the factory tour. Every single person who visits our factory, in the end, will have a sampling accompanied with either Portuguese wine or a Portuguese beer. And it's also a sampling of our products in that place. And so, for us, it was a very good investment. This year, we finished our investment on that area in 2019, a little bit before the pandemic took over. So it was a rough patch in the beginning, but nowadays, and especially this year, it grew to even our wildest expectations. We were not expecting such a strong rebound, but it was, and it was very good for us. And even in terms of our bistro, which is now operating, it's usually nowadays at full capacity. So people are very interested in this type of experience, of unique experience, and they like to be treated, they like to see how the canned fish is made, and they want to know what they can do and how they can do it at home with their canned fish. It grew so much that in this year in Macau, which is one of our major markets, and our brand there has a very strong presence, we've opened with our partners and local distributors a flag store, which also has a gastronomic experience. They have entire recipes made specifically for the Chinese market over there with a mix of Portuguese and Chinese recipes with our canned fish. And we're now in talks of opening another one. So as an investment, it has been very good for this year. And in the near future, we intend to double down on it.
Thank you, Rodrigo. And you explain how challenges and problems can overcome and how can be a success to companies and to destinations. Thank you. So, Manuel Moreira from Conserveiras Ramírez. Ramírez is currently the oldest canned fish company operating in the world. In the most modern and ecological factory of the sector, the Ramírez 1853, produces 56 million cans a year. It exports more than 200 products to 60 markets. I believe this information is correct.
Correct.
How does Ramirez reconcile the exporting talent with the fact that it's also a reference destination for industrial tourism?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the invitation. Thank you for my friends. The answer is very simple. Passion. Commitment is the only ingredients and main ingredients to conciliate our activity with industrial tourism. Of course, as you can imagine, we are the oldest cannery in the world, still in activity. So this year we are celebrating 170 years of activity. We are the sixth generation of the Ramirez family. So this is a huge responsibility. Combined with that, we know that we are in Matosinhos. Every single can we deliver says Matosinhos, Portugal. So we have a huge responsibility on that. So we cannot stay away from this industrial tourism, this activity, this partnership with the City Hall and other companies. So we have a massive and crucial responsibility on that. But let me tell you the following. You can see the Atlantic Ocean just aside of us. 97% of our territory is water. Most of the people don't know that. Our boundaries has enlarged 400 kilometers, okay, have increased. So that's why when we make the calculations, we can say 90% of our territory is water. So Atlantic, the sea, the ocean is our legacy. Ramirez is on this ecosystem, of course, because we take the fish, like my friends here, to the dish, to the house of all consumers. And doing this activity all along 170 years is impressive because this is as you know, this is ancestral activity. So from the Phoenicians to the Romans, etc., on that time it was the salty fish. Nowadays we have a canned fish with industrial process that make it in a long-term durability. So on this company, we have a tradition, we have 14 own brands, we export to more than 60 markets, 56 million cans a year, we have know-how, we have a storytelling, we have invested in very good facilities. Ramirez facilities in Lavra, belongs to Matosinhos, is on the top 5 best canneries in the world. Most probably don't know that. So we combine the modern technology, modern facilities, with tradition, with brand, with Matosinhos. It has a huge name as well overseas. And we make it in a solid way, with passion, with love. We combine this with technology, X-ray vision, robots, a lot of women working there. 90% of our staff is women, beautiful. They have beautiful hands to put the sardines and mackerels inside. And we do it very hard, and we try to combine in a harmony the visits of the foreign people. Most of the people that visit us are foreign, from Israel, from England, from Luxembourg, from Belgium, France, America, United States, Canada. And people fall in love because they were supposed to see an old company, okay, rusty, smell with a hard smell of fish, and they say, wow, clean, well done. Technology, know-how, can fish, etc. They can walk around the company. We have a guidance for that, and they can have a food experience over there as well. And we have a storytelling. They can meet the staff as well, the production manager, the administration. We have a shop over there. People can buy certain brands that are not on sale here in Portugal, just for export markets. And compromise, passion, and love, this is what we do. Because we cannot stand alone just by our own, because we have a commitment with Matosinhos. Matosinhos is a city with a large vocation for the Atlantic Ocean, the surf, the restaurant, the fish, etc. And Ramirez belongs to this long ecosystem. So we have a compromise, and this compromise will stay forever as long as we are operating. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Manuel Moreira. You spoke about a lot of things, commitment, responsibility, and especially legacy. I believe legacy and people are one of our main assets in Portugal, in the northern region, in Matosinhos. I believe it's also what makes the difference of this country. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Helena Fernandes from APDL. After the construction of the cruise terminal, APDL decided to recover an emblematic piece of the city, which is currently a tourist asset of excellency, the Titan. What is the balance of the project and how does it relate to the tourists arriving at the passenger terminal?
Well, thank you, Marco. First of all, I'd like to thank you also to invite us to be in this panel and congratulate Nest and Câmara Matosinhos for organizing this quite important event, because I think we need to bring more attention to tourism in this region and also other types of tourism than the sightseeing only. So it's quite interesting that we've been listening today. Before I answer to your question, I'd just like to tell you that we are actually in an industrial area. We are in a port. So the port has been developed due to the industry, some of them that are represented here, and also because of the city. So the Port Authority has always been very conscious about how the port can grow, how it can be developed, but mainly bear in mind that we need to be innovative. So today we hear about startups, about projects. I think for the last 25 years, this port has been investing a lot on innovation projects so we can grow together with the city and together with our industry. So for you just to have an idea, we handle about 12 million tons per year, lots of cargo. But this maybe that's not very significant for you, but we are one of the most important port in northwest of the Iberian Peninsula. So there are a lot of companies that depend on the port to import and export its products. As Marta was saying, we have cargo here from 100 to 180 countries. So it's quite important, the importance of these ports, not only at regional level, but at national level. We usually say that any port can stop except this one, and we recently saw it. But just we always thought that, okay, we are a port, we are an industry, but we need to be more than that. And that's why we've been developing also other projects together with municipality, together with other partners such as the Porto University. So we can, and this is an example, this cruise terminal has to do with the agreement that we have with this university and also municipality, I'll just tell you about. But we always thought that we need to have partners to develop and to grow in these projects. About this terminal, it's been very interesting because while it was being constructed, it was already a case study. A case study because of this partnership, because this is not only a cruise terminal, it's also a research center for the sea. We have a partnership with CIMAR, and if you go down, when you go out, you will see all the labs. We have about 200 researchers daily in this building. Because at that moment when we decided to construct this building, we are always looking for how we can connect to the city, to community. Because we didn't want just to be a building because we don't have cruises every day. We are getting into that, but not at the moment. And when we started, we definitely didn't have. And we wanted to have a building that the city could also relate to it. And that's why we developed together with Porto University, the research center, also with the municipality. But it's also a place where people can come and visit, because we know the ports there are some challenges because the city is growing around the port, and we need people to understand how the port is important for the region and for the activity and for the people. And this is also, this building is a way that people can come here and visit and see the port and see this importance. So this is more, I usually say this is more than a cruise terminal. It's actually an infrastructure that can help relate the people and the ports. For instance, these events that we've been doing here, I think for the last 7 years, with all these events that we come here, I think even Matosinhos, the city, is well known internationally because of this space, because of the opportunity of coming here and visit. So this has always been a very important project, a very important aim for the Port Authority. About were you asking for Titan? Titan is a crane. When you came through to the entrance of the port, before you arrive at the terminal, you saw a crane and you pass it under it. So there's also actually over there, if you sit on the left, a very old one in the north part. So these were two cranes, north and south, that helped construction of the port, of the breakwaters of the port. And we always, not only the port, but also the city, I think Matosinhos has a very good relation with the Titan. So it was quite important. They are not being used anymore because they are more than 100 years old, but it was important for us to develop, to refurbish the South Titan so people could see a little bit about the history of the port, about the city, about the importance of these cranes to the community. And when we were building this terminal, there was an accident, and it was quite, we couldn't get too much of the Titan, but still we managed to construct with some original pieces, but still managed to construct this crane where you can visit on weekends, on Fridays, it's open for visits. I think it's quite interesting because actually you can walk along the crane, and it's quite a nice scenery. And it's a way also to keep the importance and the imaginary of the city and how we can relate to the port and to the city. So Titan was always, we never thought, for a long time there was no Titan because we were refurbishing it, and people were asking always, when it's coming? So it's quite important we see it to the people that live here, how important is this industrial equipments. We still have inside the port some other equipment that we try to, of course it's an investment, but we think it's part of our history, it's part of the city, it's part of the port, and we still keep refurbishing him so we don't lose this history, of course. Another example is we have a very nice, another cruise terminal in the north part, if you have the chance to visit, which is also has to do with the history of the city. So I think we always, when we think about these equipments, about these infrastructures, of course it's for passengers, it's for visitors, it's for tourism, but also for the city and for the people that want to visit. To give you an example, we have about 5,000 children visiting the port every year. And of course, we include also visit here because I think it's important for them to grow up thinking of how important is sport, how important are the industries, the companies, the importance of these equipments to them. Maybe in the future they will think about it when they come back here. And also just to give you an idea, of course, tourism in terms of passengers. We have more than 100,000 passengers per year coming through this building, this terminal. And it's quite interesting to see that nowadays they are not just going to visit the main sightseeing. The passengers are looking for experiences, for histories. So it's quite interesting to see the other offers we have, because I think I remember quite a lot of years ago, it was very hard to go to cruise companies and present them some other tourist offers. So it was always the same. They were always asking, but can you do something different? Can you? And now with this, the fact of visiting these companies, I think these are experiences that help us, for passengers to come back here again and again. So just to wrap around, it's quite interesting to see that there is some other options that we can develop in the future for tourism, and it's quite interesting to see that we are not just focusing on the regular visits, not only, for instance, architecture, that always been Matosinhos was the main aspect. Nowadays, people come here to see other offers, so it's quite interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. We are almost in the end of our time, but I would like to ask you, each one of you, if you want to add something in 1 minute of what we are discussing here. Marta? 1 minute.
If I want something for the city, for tourism, is that mainly I think I want, if you ask me what I really wish to tourism of Matosinhos, I wish we can keep our difference and keep our characteristics and keep our genuinity and make it own, like we all said, we all talked about experiences, about character, about difference, about being unique. And I think this is a unique territory, this is a unique community, and I hope that technology, like in Pinhais, I always cry, it's true, like I've seen it for 6 times, I'm still crying, but I cry because I feel, and I think this is a territory where you can feel, and I hope that these projects, that the infrastructures, that everything that has been happening in the territory make a sophisticated territory, a smart territory, but a genuine one. And the community is the same, and we all like our sea, our fish, we are very proud. And people when come here, they also feel proud, they believe, and that is what I wish.
Thank you. Rui Feira, the same challenge in 1 minute, please.
Yeah, what I feel is, based on what we have heard, is that Matosinhos has clearly the capabilities of becoming a real destination, tourism destination, which we have to assume it was not in the past, and there's no problem in it. So I think Matosinhos can have the ambition to be different and to become a real destination, tourism destination, based on its uniqueness. But I don't want to repeat myself, so
Thank you.
that's it.
Thank you. Patricia?
What I think what my wish would be is that from 100 years ago from now, our children, our grandchildren, they are still wanting to come to Matosinhos, and they remind what we are saying right now and saying how amazing this place is, how unique, and how we take home a history with us. We take a legacy, we take our the heritage of a region that is close to the sea, and it has an amazing opportunity for everyone. So that will be my wish, that my grandson could say in 100 years ago that he remembers what Matosinhos is like.
You. Rodrigo?
In my opinion, I think that the biggest potential Matosinhos has is its industry, which is, I think, it's rarer in Europe, because most of tourism in Europe is focused on the old historic buildings, but Matosinhos is, the height of Matosinhos, it was with its industry, and so I think it's the most genuine thing we can sell to anyone who comes visit us, is the industries here presented, because they are unique, in the case of canned fish factories, but also they are made by unique and genuine people from our city.
Thank you. Manuel Moreira, the same question.
Well, hard question. From my international activity, and based on that and my life experience, I can tell you that is what I feel, what I think. Matosinhos is a city open to the world. First question, first point. Why? We have international airport, people land in Matosinhos, take off from Matosinhos, not Oporto, Matosinhos. First point. Harbor, for the goods, for the trading, Matosinhos. People, visitors, ships, shipyards coming. These facilities where we are, people are visiting Matosinhos. Before, went to Porto, crossover, Matosinhos. Matosinhos is a city flag. No doubt, it's open to the world. The Matosinhos people have a different mindset from the rest of the country. because it's a village where they speak language. We have international people, foreign people, working in the center all along the territory. And we know we belong to this country, but we belong to the world. We are open community, and the ocean is the main assets we have indeed. And we can have fine companies, we can have fine legacies, fine technology to promote, to share, to develop, but we cannot forget one thing: sustainability of the Atlantic Ocean. Otherwise, this village cannot exist anymore.
Very important, yeah.
I belong to a third generation where my family has started the activity on the ocean. I never thought I could work ever in this kind of fish activity. I never thought, but now here I am. And speaking about Matosinhos, I'm proud of that. So I think we have a huge responsibility. Clean the waters, take care of Atlantic, have the MSC fisheries will come to place this year actually, will be a huge and fantastic access for the canned fish activity. So I think we have a long term. We'll have a long future for this village, and the campus and the cities and the city hall and so on. So I think we are in the good way. Let's take.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Elena?
Well, I think Matosinhos is doing a very interesting path in terms of promotion, in terms of acknowledgement. I think at national level, we now recognize Matosinhos as one of the main cities. I think we need to have more promotion at international level. And for that, we need more tourism offer. I think it's very interesting how this is going on, but we still have to continue to invest. So we can retain, for instance, passengers that come to visit us, we can retain them at Matosinhos instead of going to other cities.
Thank you. So we reach the end of our time. I would like to thank the organization, but especially to you, to share your experiences, your projects and your companies with us. I believe we will leave here richer with your experience. So thank you very much. The conference will continue, and thank you for being here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.